Hello, and welcome back, first graders. This is week 10, day 2/4. For today's lesson, you will need your thinking cap, your listening ears, a pencil, your crayons, and your modules 3 and 4 EL workbook. If you don't have these materials gathered, just press pause, then press play when you're ready to learn. Hopefully you have your materials ready to go. Today we're going to start our lesson and warm up our brain and our bodies with a Pins and Nettie self-care video. This episode, episode 5, is called the Hokey Pokey Song. Get ready to watch Pins and Nettie.
Okay, ready, Nettie? Ready, Pins? Great! A 3, 4, 5. You put one paw in, you take one paw out. You put one paw in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. You put the other paw in, you take the other paw out. You put the other paw in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. Are you ready for the big finish? You put your whole self in, you take your whole self out. You put your whole self in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
What other games have you played to pass the time while staying at home? Go ahead and share with me. That sounds fun. Taking care of yourself, or self-care, is so important. Now that we've warmed up our brains and our bodies, let's move on to today's lesson. Today's learning target says, I can improve my work using kind, helpful, and specific feedback from my peers. The word improve means to make better. I can make my work better using kind, helpful, and specific feedback from my peers. Well, you may be learning at home today, which means your peers aren't around you. So we're going to change our learning target just a little bit for our virtual learning platform. Let's cross out that word peers and put myself. And specific feedback from myself. So goodbye, my peers. Today we're just working with ourselves. Can you read the new learning target with me, taking my peers out and replacing it with myself? I can improve my work using kind, helpful, and specific feedback from myself. In order for you to give yourself feedback, you'll first need to go to your EL workbook to page 43. On page 43, you'll see the last expert bird draft that you completed from yesterday's day 1 lesson. The top of the page will look like this, and you'll have your bird draft in the box. I'll give you a moment to find that page. put your finger on your bird draft. Good. Today, we're going to be looking at your last completed draft of your bird and giving feedback to yourself. Feedback. We'll be giving feedback based on all of these bold words. I wonder, can you read those bold words with me? Start right here. Shapes. Good. Read that one again. Shapes. This one says size. Placement. Details. Good. These are the 4 things that you will focus on today. You'll look at your draft and then think about how well did you do with your shapes, size, placement, and details. Then you're going to give yourself some feedback. Let's look at the speech bubbles. When you're giving yourself feedback, you need to use one of these 2 speech bubbles. For example, you could say, I did a good job of making sure the size of each shape on my bird was accurate. Or maybe you would say, I think I should work on the placement of my bird's beak because I drew it way too high. I'm going to set a timer. I will give you 4 or 5 minutes to look at your draft, thinking about the shapes, size, placement, and details, and then give yourself some feedback. When my timer is up, we'll come back together, and you'll share with me the feedback that you've given yourself. Okay, go ahead and take a look at your bird and think about what did you do well and what can you improve on. Your timer starts now. I'll give you one more minute to make observations about how well you did your shape, size, placement, and details. Then we'll share feedback. Okay, researchers, let's come back together. Hopefully you were able to look at your last expert bird draft and think about how well you did your shapes, size, placement, and details. Let's start with the blue sentence frame. Read this sentence and fill in the blank for yourself. Good. Now look at the green sentence starter. Read the sentence and fill in the blank. Good. For today's independent work, we're going to focus on your green sentence starter. Tell me again, what should you be changing about your draft based on what you said in your green sentence starter? I think I should what? Okay. And why? Because good. Today, when you create your next draft, you're going to use this specific, kind, and helpful feedback so that you can make your next draft even better than this one. Go ahead and turn the page in your workbook so that at the top it says Expert Bird Draft number 3. You'll see a blank box. Good. Before we jump into this, let's think back to Austin and his butterfly. Nod your head if you remember Austin and his butterfly drawing. Yes. Now, was Austin's final draft of his butterfly, was it quite different from his first draft? Yes or no? Yes. What was different about Austin's final draft? Yes, it had a lot more details and looked more like the picture of the butterfly that he was using as his model. But what helped Austin make his drawings or his drafts better each time? That's right. He was paying close attention to the details in his picture model, and he was listening to all of the feedback from his peers. Today, you're going to act like Austin. You're going to use the feedback that you gave yourself, and you're going to look really closely at your picture model. Hopefully, your number 1 is going to look very different from your number 3. Today, for independent work, you will complete your next scientific draft using your self-feedback. Go to that picture model. Look again at the picture of your bird, paying close attention to the details. Trying to make this next draft even better. Use that specific feedback that you gave yourself in the green bubble. Once you've done that, that means that you have completed today's learning target. I can improve my work using kind, helpful, and specific feedback from myself. I will leave this on the screen so that you have a reminder of what task you need to be doing during independent work. Go forth and create your next Expert Bird Draft number 3 using self-feedback and details from your picture. I will see you next time. Bye, friends.